Hi folks, Matthew here. I'm going to give you some pointers on MLA style and how to kind of get that going when you open up a document. At the end of our document, hopefully, or at the end of this, our document will hopefully look something like this that you see on the screen right now. So when you open up a document, generally speaking, on most computers, especially at school, you'll see something like this. The font will be Calibri and it'll be size 11. So the very first thing we're going to do is change that to size 12, and we're going to change this to Times New Roman. And then we're going to go here and go to line spacing options, and we're going to make sure that this is 0. Sometimes it's at 8. And then this is at double. So these two at 0, and then this at double. Okay, and then we'll put in our heading. So it goes student, your first name. So actually I'll change that. Your first name, and then your last name. And then it's just kind of a courtesy to put professor. And then in my case, I really don't mind if you put my full name or my whatever you want. But generally speaking, it's just kind of a courtesy to put in that. So Professor Sterner, Neely, but like I said, I'm not a big stickler for that in my class. Then English, 121. And if you know your section, it's a good courtesy to put that in there too. 02, 03, or whatever the section is. And then you're going to put the date that you actually turn in this document. I'm going to pretend that we're turning this in today, so we'll do that. The very next thing on the next line, you are going to have a clever title. My clever title is titled MLA Template. But seriously, one of the best things you can do is have a clever title. And then return, and you're going to go back to left, and then this triangle up on the top, we're going to scoot this over, and then we'll have our indented stuff here. So we can start typing our essay here. In the first paragraph of any essay, the writer needs to capture the reader's attention right away. They can do this in a number of ways. So you're going to have that. You're going to have a thesis in that first paragraph. The other thing that you need to do is you need to insert a page number. So for Macs and PCs, it's a little bit different, but generally it's going to look like that. You go to Insert, and then on a PC it'll Insert and then Page Number, and then click on Page Number and make sure it's in the upper right. Then go to that page number, and you're going to put in your last name followed by a space. And then you have to go back in there actually and change the font again to Times New Roman and just make sure it's at 12 point. So that's our basic template. So we're going to have other stuff in there. And I'll kind of go over some of that stuff in the next few days, and I did go over it a little bit today. But the other thing that you should have is you should have a works cited page. The way to do that is after your last thing that you've written, click on Insert, and then click on Page Break. It's going to look a little bit different, but it's going to say something like that in every version of Microsoft Word. So then center it, and then the words works cited, and then again left. And instead of this top triangle, we're going to take the bottom triangle and we're going to scoot that over. And I'm actually going to take a works cited entry from the library databases, and I'm going to throw it in here. I've just copied and pasted that. So now if you notice, if you take a look at what happens when I scoot this thing over, that happens. So you want that the second line and subsequent lines to be indented, and then you'll go back to your that first line and so forth, and then put your next one in there. And so this is basic. This is the basic formatting for any MLA paper. MLA, generally speaking, does not require a title page. In APA, it does. And I will put this template in D2L along with this video, and so hopefully that'll help. Thanks.